Hey, homegirl or homeboy. I am Kiani, the Responsible Homegirl, and tonight I am going live to share some tips with you about starting your personal finance journey. Now, if you've been rocking with me since last week, you know we just started a brand new series called Summertime Reset, where we are hopping back in the game. We are getting back serious about our finances because anytime January comes in, we have these big, audacious financial goals. And then y'all know life starts lifing and different obstacles come up, and somehow, some way we get off track. So I started this series, Summertime Reset, to not just get us excited about summer, but to really encourage you to get back serious about your personal finances. So like I said before, tonight I'm going to be sharing tips about starting your personal finance journey. And this live was inspired by an email that I got last week. So I'm going to read the email to you all and then just answer the questions step by step, because I know if he has these questions, then the same questions can, probably be applied, like if somebody else has the same questions. So this person, they sent me an email. They said, "Dear Miss Kiani," I feel so old, Miss Kiani, but they was like, "Dear Miss Kiani, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm not going to say the name. I'm a freshman at the University of Southern California in LA. I was like, okay, Callie, the content is reaching, the entire nation. I love it. So I'm a freshman at USC in LA studying accounting and finance. By reading my major, I'm pretty sure you think, why am I emailing if I'm already majoring in money-making skills? However, I'd have to admit I am bad at personal finance and budgeting and know nothing about credit cards or investing. As an African-American male who stumbled across a personal finance video with you and Uncut Gems with Slim, shout out to my girl Slim. We recorded that, I want to say, in 2022 maybe. So the fact that that video is still out there reaching people and spreading that message is amazing. It motivated me to start taking action now as a 19-year-old. Love it. These next couple of summers, I have internships where I'll be making a good amount of money, but I want to be able to start saving for a better future for myself. I'd love it if you could give me tips and advice on where to start. What resources should I look into? What books should I start reading now? Where should I start investing? As much as I've been doing my own research, it's hard without an actual person to pivot off of. Thank you so much for everything you do. You're my personal finance inspiration, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. That was so sweet. So I read the email and I was like, oh my God, that's a great question. Because for one, at 19, I was definitely not thinking about anything concerning personal finance. And I am in love with his honesty. He was like, yeah, although this is my major, I know nothing about budgeting. I know nothing about credit, but I want to know. And I feel like oftentimes we are not honest with ourselves. Like, we want to be in a certain place financially, but we are not honest about where we currently are. And if you don't get real with where you are right now, it's going to be very rough for you to start doing things differently, to change up some of those habits, to say no to the things that have gotten you to where you currently are right now. So I just want to start off today with, be honest with where you are. Be real about where you are at, like right now, and kind of like give yourself a self-assessment. Like, I don't believe that you should have to be like me and be facing eviction, or your back has to be up against the wall just for you to know, like, dang, I got to do something different. You can already know right now if you spend way too much money eating out, if you always have more bills or more month than you have money, if you just spend frivolously and you spend aimlessly and you are not being responsible with your finances. Nobody has to tell you that. So just be real with where you are right now and then start making steps to do something different. So one of his first questions, I just wanted to shout him out because, looking in the mirror and being honest with yourself, that's a very hard thing to do that most of us don't do. And that's why we continue to repeat the same cycles year after year after year. So the first thing that he asked is, what resources should I look into? What books should I start reading now? So I pulled 3 of my favorite personal finance books that I have shared with many of you, and I'm going to continue sharing. So the first book is this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you have never read this book, you need to read this book. The reason why you want to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad is because Rich Dad, Poor Dad will completely change your mindset about money. When I was reading this book, as you can see from the tabs, and if you even like flip through, I have so many highlights and underlines and notes and all type of stuff. If you read this book, it will change everything about money. We have been taught, go to school, get a good job, like just, this very traditional stuff that don't really, how can I say it? They don't really like equip you with building wealth for the future. Like, yeah, you're building your income, but that's it. You're not minding your business, as they talk about in Rich Dad Poor Dad. And minding your business is when you earn income and you take your income and turn it into assets. And assets are things of value, things that you own, and they help you keep and put money into your pocket. Versus liabilities. Liabilities are things that are really not of value and they continue to take money out of your pocket. So Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of these books that I feel like will be around forever. And because, it has been around forever. This is a really old book. And it just, when I tell you it does numbers for your mindset, it does numbers for your mindset. So my first book recommendation is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now, my second book recommendation is Automatic Millionaire. So I will never forget how I was introduced to this book. Like I told y'all, in 2019, when I was facing eviction and, all of this stuff happened, I quit both of my jobs and I had to get 2 new jobs. So one of the jobs that I got was at my actual apartment complex, and it wasn't paying me a whole lot of money, but they gave me a 20% discount on my rent. So my rent went from being $889 to $720. So I'm like, okay, cool, we're doing something. So that was the first job that I got. The second job that I got was at a hotel. And, downtown Charleston is very touristy. So they're going to pay you a bit more money than like the typical average job. So one day, I was like a front desk clerk, and we also had like different, is it concierge? I think it's concierge trainings or whatever. So I went on one of like the carriage rides in Charleston, and I met this couple, and it was an Asian woman and a white man, and I just overheard them talking about real estate. So once we got off, me being a girl that I am like, I got this never scared mentality. I don't care who you are. If I'm inspired by you, if I want to know something, if I got a question to ask, I'm going to ask it. The worst thing that can happen is you tell me no, or, we just don't have the conversation. It just is what it is. But I'm going to shoot my shot every time. So I heard them talking about real estate, and I was like, okay, after we get off this ride, I'm going to just go approach them and ask them more about their business. And that's exactly what I did. So after the carriage ride was over, I approached them, told them that I was in college and I was really interested in learning more about money, So the lady, she was like, oh my gosh, like, I love that you even came to have this conversation with me. We're real estate investors and we have all of these, different properties across the U.S., We're just vacationing here. She was like, what I want you to do is go buy this book called The Automatic Millionaire. She said, I'm going to give you my phone number, but do not call me until you finish reading the book. So I was like, yes, ma'am. So from that day, I have always called her my auntie. And when I tell you, that Asian woman, she has continued to pour into me. Anytime I would ask her questions. We haven't spoken in a while. I actually need to check up on her. But anytime, after I finished reading the book and I picked up the phone and called her and we talked about it, she said, now, the principles that you actually read in this book, you need to apply them. She told me it's not enough to just read this stuff, but actually apply it. This is the book where I learned about paying yourself first. This is the book where I learned about opening up a Roth. This is the book where I learned about paying yourself first. This is the book where I learned about opening up a Roth IRA. And when I got my second refund check, I took $1,000 out of my Roth IRA, and I took $1,000 out of my refund check, and I opened up a Roth IRA. So I'm telling you, this book, The Automatic Millionaire, it talks so much about, being a millionaire and building up to that millionaire status slow and steady. Very practical, and you don't have to make $1 million to be a millionaire. Okay, so that was one of the myths that was just blown out of my mind. You can be earning $30,000 a year and be a millionaire. It's what you work yourself up to. So The Automatic Millionaire is a really, really, really good read. And then last but not least, for my beginner book recommendations is Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aliche, aka The Budgetnista. Now, I love this book because she talks about this concept of financial wholeness. typically we think about, just your budgeting, your debt, your credit, investing, but she hits on like what it means to actually be financially whole. She talks about in this book how she was making millions of dollars, but she didn't really have like her money team together. So this book, it hits on the basics, but it also gives you like what to look forward to as you start increasing your income. So for those of you who are, just coming into the room, I had this guy who emailed me and asked me a few questions. And one of his first questions is, what books should I be reading? And my first 3 recommendations, hands down, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So please go get this book. This really focuses on your money mindset. 2, The Automatic Millionaire. Very practical tips, very practical advice to, build your way up to a millionaire, $1 million net worth, slow and steady. And then last but not least, Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aliche, the Budgetnista, like one of my mentors in my head, one of like my biggest inspirations in the personal finance community. So these are the 3 books that I highly recommend. And this isn't a book, but y'all know I could not leave out the Responsible Homegirl Planner. Because like I said earlier on my story, I'm not sure if y'all saw my story or not earlier, but I said you have way more money than you know. You just got to be a better manager of your money. And what that looks like is really understanding what you have coming in versus what you have leaving out, and getting a grip on the unnecessary things that you always spend your money on. So what that looks like is, okay, I'm eating out every single day of the week. No, let me put some boundaries around that. Let me not eat out every single day. So if I bring lunch to work throughout the week, okay, if I do that, I'm successful at that, on the weekend, it's free game. So it's not about strict restrictions. It's about putting boundaries in place so that you are not all over the place and spending money aimlessly. So when I say be a better manager of your money, the Responsible Homegirl Planner. So those are my, I said 3, but 4 recommendations. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Automatic Millionaire, Get Good with Money, and the Responsible Homegirl Planner. Okay, so that's the first question he asked. The next question he asked me was, where should I start investing? I strongly believe that before you invest your money into anything, you need to invest in your self-education. That's a fancy way of saying you need to be reading. You need to be listening to podcasts. You need to be watching YouTube videos. You really need to be exposed to the world of personal finance. When we hear the term investing, we typically associate investing with the stock market. The stock market is just an investment vehicle. It is a way to invest. But there are so many different Sorry about that, y'all. I was getting a call. But there are so many different ways to invest your money. The stock market is just an investment vehicle. So you can invest in real estate by owning your own business, property, stock market, ETFs, bonds. Like, there's so many different ways to invest your money. Start off with investing in your self-education, because you don't want to put your money behind anything that, 1, you don't understand, 2, you don't care about, so you're not going to learn nothing about. And then 3, something that is just like a money grab. You just see it on social media. You see other people talking about it. So you're like, I'm going to put my money here. No, that makes no sense. So I always tell people, start off with investing in your self-education, investing in learning so you can actually know, okay, I'm interested in this. I'm willing to set some time aside, set some hours aside where I can actually learn this type of stuff, or like take time to actually learn this. And I'm not saying that you have to be an expert before you put money behind it, but you do have to have some level of interest in it. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm not even going to give my money to somebody without knowing what's going on, period. So when you get to a place of saying, okay, I'm comfortable with this and I can take baby steps and keep building brick by brick, that's cool. Like I told y'all, when I was reading The Automatic Millionaire and they talked about opening up a Roth IRA and why in your 20s you should have a Roth IRA and what that does for you as you are consistently putting money into this retirement account, into this retirement account, and how it grows over time, in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't understand all there is to know about retirement investing, but I do know that if I put $1,000 in here and I just read some more, if I listen some more, I could start putting my money into this place and keep learning as I go. So I started this account with $1,000. And then, like I said, I kept reading. They talk about it in the book. They talk about it on videos. And then the more I started investing in my self-education, taking the time to really learn, I'm like, okay, so investing in the stock market is not that deep like people make it seem. Like, yes, you have your technical side where people are looking at charts and different stuff. But I mean, I'm investing for the long term. So my philosophy when I first opened this account was, okay, I'm going to be an owner in what I consume. I have a MacBook. I have an iPhone. The first stock that I bought, y'all, was Apple because it was low-hanging fruit. It was low-hanging fruit. All of my friends had iPhones. All of my family members got iPhones. So if we trust, if we continue to pour our money into this company, what makes you think that other people are not doing the same? People get shamed for not having iPhones. So y'all already know that this is a company that has been around and will continue to be around for years and years and years to come. So at the very surface level, be an owner in what you consume. Don't just be a consumer. Be an owner as well. So think about different companies that, you like, that you use, that you trust. Like right now, I'm working on this book. And in the book, I talk about how, we don't really think about how these are companies that we can actively get involved in. Entrepreneurship is highlighted right now. It's it's the easiest thing ever, and it's not. And I'll be the first person to tell you that it's not. And I don't believe that everybody should be an entrepreneur, but you should be an owner. The reason why you should be an owner is because you are a consumer. So I want to challenge you all, even tonight, to just think about some of your favorite companies that you always use. So whether that's Amazon or Instagram or Facebook or, Chick-fil-A, whatever it is, I want you to make a list of those companies and I want you to research. Are they a publicly traded company or is it a private company? If it's a publicly traded company, then you should consider buying a stock in that company because it's something that you always consume. And if you can't afford to buy one stock outright, then you could buy a fractional share of that stock. And that's just a piece of a stock. It's okay to start small. And as that company makes money and that stock appreciates in value, meaning more people are supporting the company, they're profitable. As they make money, you'll make money. And again, we're playing the long game. It's not like, oh, I'm about to get rich overnight. No, you're thinking long term about how I can be an owner and really start investing in my financial future. So that was a very long way to answer that question. But all in all, where you should start investing is investing in your self-education. Point blank, period. So you can get a good understanding of what do I enjoy? What do I like? What am I interested in? What am I willing to put more hours into learning about? And then put my money behind it. You do not want to put your money behind something just because it's trending on social media or you see other people talking about it. No, get a good understanding of it. Be willing to take some time to learn more about it and then start building brick by brick. Okay, and then the last thing he said, as much as I've been doing my own research, it's hard without an actual person to pivot off of. So that's not a question, but I just want to address that because sometimes we think that we need somebody to, hold our hands and walk us through step by step. I want to encourage anybody right now, if you are starting your personal finance journey, you came in 2024 and you're like, this is the year where I'm going to take my money more seriously. I'm going to manage my money well. I'm not going to be so wasteful with my money. There are some different things that I want to do. I want you to know that it is okay to start with where you are. We love to listen to music. We love to watch TV. Just switch up what you consume a little bit. Throw in a personal finance podcast every now and then. Throw in a YouTube video every now and then. Join my lives when I go live on Monday nights. Pick up a book. I gave y'all some book recommendations. These are my top 3 that I have right now for you. And I've read plenty of personal finance books, but I believe that these are the 3 that you should start off with. And I have so much content on YouTube that you can consume. I'm telling you, I don't care if you make $30,000 a year or $300,000 a year. The money management principles are the same. Point blank, period. Because if you can't manage $30,000, how can you manage $300,000? It's the same. I will never forget watching an interview with David Banner, and I talk about it all the time. And he talked about how when he went on tour, he never packed. So every city he was going to, he was buying clothes, buying toothbrush, buying hygiene products, just buying all of this stuff. And he sat down with like his money person or whatever, and they like, this is ridiculous. But you wouldn't think like somebody at that level making that much money would like reflect on that time and be like, that was the most dumbest thing I could have ever been doing with my money. Because it's wasteful. It's wasteful. And if you don't put your numbers on paper, if you don't actually see what it is that you have going on in front of you, you will continue to make the same financial mistakes time and time and time again. So just by doing simple activities of understanding what you have coming in versus what you have leaving out, literally sitting down, taking time to plan, y'all, your finances can look so much different. You can go through your bank statements and see like, okay, if I have, it's leaving right now, Apple TV, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Stars. Like if you go through your bank statements and you see all of those subscriptions coming out of your account, now is the time to think and really ask yourself, okay, is this in alignment with my financial goals? Do I need all of these subscriptions? But when we're not looking at what's coming out of our account, it's just like a part of everyday normal life. So with summertime reset, like I said at the beginning, as we prepare for summer, we want to be outside. We want to be doing all of these things with our friends. Don't do it on credit. Actually get prepared for it. Actually take time to think about your financial goals. Revisit the goals that you set in January and get back in the game. Get back in the game. Get back committed to what you said you was going to do at the beginning of the year. So whether that's saving more money, whether that's increasing your credit score, whether that's buying a home, whether that's starting that business that you've been procrastinating on, whether that's opening up that brokerage account so you can start investing in the stock market, or opening up that retirement account so you can start preparing for retirement, whatever it is, get back focused. Get back focused. And that's what summertime reset is all about. So I hope that these tips were very helpful for you as you start your personal finance journey. I didn't want this live to be too long, but does anybody have any questions for me before I end the live? Like I said, I wanted to do this video because this freshman at the University of Southern California reached out, and I'm just so amazed at his way of thinking right now, even at 19, because I promise you, at 19, baby, all I was trying to do was turn up. I was trying to have a good time, do my schoolwork, make A's, all A's if I could. I don't know if I made all A's. I probably didn't, because I think at 19, I definitely had like a science course. And natural sciences were not for me, okay, at all. They were not for me. But I say all that to say, when I was in college, I wanted to have a good time, make good grades, live my best life. I was not thinking about money management at all. So this encourages me, and this gives me so much hope for the next generation and everything that they are going to do, because I know like if they get access to this information at an earlier age, y'all, we might actually have a chance at, closing the racial wealth gap for real. And I know that is just years of, systemic racism and slavery and, just all of this different stuff. But it still gives me hope to like dream and believe that it is possible. It is possible. Hey, girl. Hey, Bitsy. You're welcome. So does anybody have any questions about anything before I end the live? Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. If you are just joining the live tonight, I just talked about some tips for starting your personal finance journey, and it was inspired by this email that I received from a freshman at the University of Southern California, and he really is just preparing for, internships that he has coming up this upcoming summer, and so he asked for some recommendations for books that he should read, and I gave Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Automatic Millionaire, and then Get Good with Money. So if you have not read these books yet, please put them on your book list and read them before this year ends. And then, of course, the Responsible Homegirl Planner, so that you can start budgeting and managing your money well. And if you're just joining us, go back, watch the entire live. I'll also put this on YouTube so that it can be easier for you to navigate, because I know how it is on IG when you're trying to rewatch or whatever. But when I put it on YouTube, I have timestamps and different things of that sort to help you navigate it better. So nobody dropped any questions in the chat, so I'm assuming that y'all don't have any. But I'm going to hang around just a little while longer before I end, just in case the questions come in. Hey, AJ. AJ said The Automatic Millionaire is an amazing read. Yes, it is so good and so practical. If you actually do what it says in this book, you will be a millionaire. But you have to do what it says. You have to be consistent with it. Got to be consistent. I did not just wake up knowing this stuff about money and personal finance. I read, I continue to read, I listen, but most importantly, I apply what I read and what I listen to. Okay, so no questions. Thank you all so much for rocking with me tonight. Thank you for joining the live. Share this with one of your homegirls or your homeboys. And do not forget, as we are on this journey together for our summertime reset, when I'm going live every single Monday at 8:30, and then sometimes randomly throughout the week, I really want to encourage you to get back in the game. It's never too late to make tomorrow day one. So I don't care if you've been wasting money all 5 months of 2024. It's okay. Start fresh tomorrow. Purchase the Responsible Homegirl Planner. Start getting a grip on what you have coming in versus what you have leaving out, and budgeting on a consistent basis. Whatever financial goals that you set out to do in January, it is still time to do it. Get back in the game. So thank you all so much for joining. I will see you all next Monday, or if I decide to go live throughout the week later on, I'll see you later. All right, y'all, enjoy the rest of y'all week, and happy Memorial Day. I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day, whether you was with family, friends, chilling by yourself, or working. I hope that today was amazing. All right, see y'all later.